Hey Dreama, this is Mike with Rule Life Photography, and I wanted to show you a couple of edits on some of the photos that you sent over and how I think that you could have added just a little bit more pop than what is currently on these edits. So these are all straight out of camera. They are JPEG. It would perform a little bit better in RAW, but we'll just make this work for the sake of showing you how I would edit these photos. You did send over, I think, 9 or 10 of, 10 photos. I'll probably just do about 2 or 3 because they all have similar light. So here we go. For this particular photo, I think I would go with RLP01. This is my own presets, and that's what I'm going to be using throughout this whole demo. I think I would use this one. I do want to check RLP09 to see how that one would look. And all of my, not all of them, but some of my presets come with green, but you could actually drop that out pretty easily. And I like how that looks right there. I mean, nice skin tones here. The skin retains the tone that it should, but it gave some pop to the colors down here. I did notice a little bit of cast right here that I would take and just change the tint just a little bit here. Just go over that. And just raise it up until you can't really notice it a little bit. No. Let's back that off a little bit more. And let's see. That's not that bad. It's still got a little bit of tint right there on it. You would have to work that out just because the color cast is coming off this right here. Alright, let's go on to the next one. Let's see. So this one here, once again, I would probably do a 1. Drop down the exposure a bit just to get some of those highlights back. And I don't think I would change anything else on that image. Next. This one has a lot of grain on it, but we will do our best. This one I think I would do 03 plus and go with that. You can see that there's grain in here, but you would have to just drop out the grain from the preset itself, but also it was already a grainy image before we started. It was shot at ISO 12,000, so understandably so. Alright. Also shot at ISO 6400. Just a tip, in my opinion here. I think you could have dropped this down to get it into more of a reasonable range. Opened up your f-stop depending on your lens here. I shoot with a 35mm all the time. That's a 1.4, and then drop that down. I don't usually shoot, especially in scenarios where the kids aren't running around acting crazy. I would have cranked that shutter speed down to probably 1/160th of a second. And then tried to work to get my ISO down as low as possible. So, for this particular photo, I think it would look good as a black and white. I do have a black and white preset down here, and it's a freebie in my preset group. But personally, I use Anna Rosenberg's black and white presets for almost everything. So, I would go with something either like that. But if you like the matte type look, maybe something like this. I don't know. I'm a big fan of the first preset. Drop the exposure down a little bit. Maybe crank down the highlights a little bit, and then dodge maybe the face just a little. I don't know. Maybe something like that. Then let's do this one too. Yeah, once again, you're at ISO 3200. You're good. You got your shutter speed down though. I think you could have went to 1/60th, and like I said, on your aperture, you could have cranked that down or cranked it up, depending on what lens you're shooting with. Let's see what lens you're shooting with. If it'll tell us. No, we don't know. So maybe it does. Let's see. Let's say. Yeah, maybe you could have went down to f2 on this lens. Or you could go down to f2 on this lens. I don't know how sharp this particular copy of a lens is at f2. So I think I would go black and white on this one as well. On her presets, she also has a lot of green. You could drop that out to retain some, keep some of the green down, because you have a lot of natural green from your from pushing it to ISO 3200. But that's how I would edit it. We can look at this one too. Like I said, I think my presets would work well for a lot of these. How these, the colors of these, shots. Maybe I would crank exposure down just a little bit, something like that. But hopefully you find this helpful. Feel free to shoot me a message if you have any questions or anything like that. Have a good night.